What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com, FightfulWrestling.com, FightfulMMA.com, and of course, FightfulSelect.com. I'll go and get the plugs out of the way, guys. This show is brought to you ad-read free by FightfulSelect.com. It is our new premium service. Nothing that has been free as of a month ago on Fightful.com is moving there. It is all new content at FightfulSelect.com. We have several different tiers that you all can choose from. We do the Fightful Weekender podcast there where I review NXT, Ring of Honor, 205 Live, Being the Elite, New Japan weekly. I talk about non-Raw and SmackDown stuff there. Every 2 weeks, we do a Q&A podcast where I answer all of your questions. We do bi-weekly dark match commentary where I provide commentary on dark matches that WWE has out there from guys like Brock Lesnar, Bobby Roode, AJ Styles, John Cena. Speaking of Bobby Roode, you can see matches from him and Jimmy Van's match archives, back when Jimmy Van used to promote events back in the day. Speaking of Jimmy Van, his book is also available on that service. We have Fightful photo galleries. I do a retro podcast every month. This month's is WWF Backlash 1999. I have some preview content available on Fightful.com and our YouTube. So go check it out, guys. We have tons of stuff up there. And if you're interested in sponsoring a podcast or appearing on a podcast, there's a tier for that as well. We have everything from basic tiers all the way up to sponsorship tiers. If you want to buy a package where you sponsor every Fightful podcast for 6 months, you're able to do that and get all the perks as well. My God, Fightful Select. At least go check it out, my friends. Tonight I am joined by Alex Pawlowski. Alex, it has been a long week, and we haven't even begun. I'm doing a Ring of Honor podcast tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be a bit of a WrestleMania pre-show as well. I'm doing a UFC podcast in a couple hours. I did a breaking news podcast yesterday due to all the UFC stuff. But this NXT Takeover show, boy, was it an easy watch.
Oh, man. Was it a perfect wrestling show?
It was damn near it.
That's the only question. Was it perfect? It was amazing. Was it perfect?
Here's the thing. Perfect. I'll go ahead and give one more plug. Over on Fightful.com, after all these shows, I put up my match ratings. Here's how my match guide works. Start off at a 5. I slide up and down, 5 out of 10. Usually, most matches, like Raw matches, end up between the 4 to 6 territory, either because of lack of stakes, lack of emotion, lack of time, whatever it be. I think this is the first show since I've started doing these that I gave 2 10 out of 10s on. And that sandwiched the show. Mm-hmm. And what was in the middle of it wasn't, like, it was great. Mm. Unbelievable, awesome stuff. Leave us a thumbs up, subscribe, all that cool stuff, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about this damn show, Alex.
Yeah.
It starts off with the pre-show. Pat McAfee, who I love his podcast. A lot of fun there. He was on the NXT pre-show. Very rarely do you get positive reception for a pre-show panelist. Not only do I think that he's going to get a lot of praise, I want to see this guy learn more and more and more about wrestling and have him call some stuff. He was incredibly entertaining.
Yeah. No, he's the anti-Peter Rosenberg. Like, he doesn't feel canned or co-opted or like, I was told to say this, so I'm going to say this.
Oh, he doesn't need it.
He doesn't feel like that at all.
He left the NFL of his own volition. How often does that happen?
Yeah, no, it's
one of the best punters in the game, and he said, no, I think I'll leave at age 30 and do a podcast. Well, okay.
Well, I think I'll leave before somebody like blindsides me as I'm going down on punt coverage and I wind up a vegetable. That's what he said. He was like, I got to be smart about that.
Actually, sure. I think he left at 29 because he's just now 30. And I'm pretty sure he went to the Pro Bowl in his last season as well. Yeah. So he's got credibility as a real athlete. I died when he messed up the Shayna Baszler line. He goes, the tap snapper crap lady was kind of scary. I was like, you know what? It works. Yeah. Also, I want to give a shout out to Kayla Braxton. I thought she did great on this pre-show. A lot of times when they send you outside to get predictions from fans, it can be awkward. You shove a mic in a fan's face, it can be weird. She just got them all to chant what they wanted, and it worked out perfectly. There are also good interviews with Adam Cole and Candice LeRae on this show. But let's go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
NXT North American Championship match, the ladder match. I like to send you all to my match ratings, but I'll just tell you, I gave this a 10 out of 10. This may be the best ladder match I've ever seen. Now, that is obviously open to interpretation. With a 6-man match like this, the psychology is limited because you just have so many moving parts that you don't necessarily have to spend as much time selling because there's always somebody to do something. There are going to be people who prefer the Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon style ladder matches and stuff like that, and more power to you. But I don't know that I have seen many more exciting than this. I think this is NXT's Edge and Christian, Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys moment with a ladder. It's that special. Early on, here are the entrances. EC3 looked ready to go. He was like he was on a friggin' pogo stick or something. I love Lars's theme. I don't know what the hell's up with Velveteen's hair, but it's hilarious. And it's cool to see someone on WWE TV being billed from Kentucky and not being a hillbilly, a hunter, or Eugene. Very happy about that. And wouldn't you know it? Speaking of Kentucky, he got an opportunity tonight, Alex.
He did get an opportunity.
No, initial reactions on the reactions that each of these men got, because I'll tell you one thing, it warmed my heart to see EC3 and Ricochet in this environment. Now, Ricochet's done some Tokyo Dome stuff, so he's had a little bit of that, but EC3 has largely been performing in front of a couple hundred people.
He's been toiling in anonymity as a former champ on the second biggest televised show. Like we forget about how TNA performs in front of nobody, but has been running forever, and he was the face of them for a long time. But he's been toiling in relative anonymity on a fairly large fed, if you will. But I love that he was here because you can tell it meant so much to him after having had to exit as Derek Bateman and getting to come back here after building himself up elsewhere to a point where he would actually be celebrated. I think that was excellent. And listen, like, it was one of those things where if you had told me when I first came to know Ricochet as Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, that a few years later, that guy that I was watching would be in NXT, in this match, I would have just been like salivating. I may have passed out.
Kind of weird, speaking of where he's billed from, to not hear him billed from Boyle Heights, yeah?
Yes, yeah, but Boyle Heights.
I'm so used to that now.
That's true.
I can't pretend that I'm a regular viewer of Lucha Underground. I catch it up and binge watch. But man, it is a little unusual to see that. But also with EC3 sustaining the ACL injury that he had back in the day before he left WWE.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad that the TNA, like just where they wouldn't touch anybody from there for a while, I'm glad that's gone because they have picked up a lot of really good pieces from that company. Ricochet, amazing, hits a springboard shooting star on Lars and Dane to set the tone for the match. You know, I often joke about how I once watched a Kimbo Slice versus Dada 5000 match where Dada 5000 technically died during the fight, and Kimbo very may well have died as a result of that fight.
Yeah.
6 men died during this match at multiple times.
Yeah.
Throughout it. It was, as our chat is quick to point out, EC3 was on fire and he's jacked. Lars hit a pop-up power slam on Cole, then regular power slams. EC3 eats a suicide dive from Dane. EC3 saved a ladder from being thrown about 60 feet in the air. Let me set the scenario for you guys. Lars Sullivan on about the 3rd, 4th rung, and he's got a death grip on the ladder.
Yeah.
Ricochet comes flying over the top of the sunset flip. Well, as Ricochet pulls Lars, that ladder's going where Lars goes if Lars is holding on to it. EC3 recognizes it, and he says, I'm going to grab this and just weigh it down a little bit. Had EC3, and I can't remember who else was there, not done that, that ladder's busting. Whatever scoreboard the Smoothie King Center has, it's done. It's gone.
Oh, God.
I liked Cole and EC3 working together until EC3 stole Cole's catchphrase. Because then Cole's like, Nah, son, you went too far.
Yeah. Oh God, this match, Sean. Like it's almost futile to be like, oh, let me tell you about the big spots, because then we'd be talking about it through the entire podcast.
Yeah.
Like they're setting up ladders to do Death Valley drivers onto, and the freak accident onto, and all these crazy, crazy spots. The thing about it I love is that this is now Ricochet had his first match in front of the NXT crowd, but they never televised it. They only used it to like create a highlight package for him, because they weren't about to use stuff from Lucha Underground or New Japan as a highlight package for him. So they only had it for that thing. And during that match, he does his 630 senton, which is one of the most electrifying moves in sports entertainment. But he didn't.
Shout out to Jarrell Clark back in the day in TNA Wrestling.
That's true.
Mr. 630.
But he didn't use it in this spot. He did a shooting star off the top rope onto, I forget who it was, on the ladder.
Lars and Dane. Oh, yeah. I love that. And I saw some dope saying, oh, what's the psychology of doing that in a ladder match? Because if you take out two people, that's pretty handy. And then I saw somebody trying to draw a comparison between MMA psychology and ladder match psychology. And I was like, you're not even worth me ethering on Twitter. You're not worth.
If you're watching this and you're not like entertained by the sheer athleticism of it and the ingenuity of it, listen, this is the thing. You were right. This might be the best ladder match ever, but here's the deal. NXT said, hey, let's basically do our version of a Money in the Bank match, and we'll do it better than all the other Money in the Bank matches that have happened before.
Not only that, but with several unusual ladder match components in this. Absolutely. And I think that was a welcome change that they were able to do this. Well, let me walk through a few more spots. Fireman's carry slam into a ladder, then a super kick party. Cole was hugely over. Yeah. Then Velveteen Dream, I think, may have stole I don't want to say stole the show, but he does very often. He hits these beautiful elbow drops, including one off the very tip top of the ladder. Back in the day, I don't want to say back in the day, about 10, 11 years ago, they used to have referees hold the bottom of the ladders from outside the ring to prevent that. I don't know that we got that this time. Maybe I missed it, but magnificent elbow drop on that man. EC3 hits a TKO on Cole off the ladder. Ricochet is about to be pushed off a ladder, then moonsaults to the outside onto Dane and Cole. Dane and Cole then sort of, I don't want to say work together, because Dane uses Cole to work together and hits a Vader bomb on EC3 on a ladder. Then Ricochet battles it out with EC3. Shooting star press onto E. They're really making him pay. They're like, we know you were in developmental, EC3. We know that you were on the main roster a little bit. You did that stupid NXT show. You spent your time in Impact. We're making you pay your dues here. My God. Ladder bridges get set up, and Velveteen Dream hits a rolling Death Valley driver onto Ricochet on this ladder bridge. And even though the ladder bridge fell a little bit earlier, they were able to seamlessly just move right back. Nothing fell off the rails in this match. Even what I assume was a botch, when Ricochet jumped off the rope and got onto, I think it was Dane's back or Sullivan's back, and it fell. I was like, you know what? It was sloppy. I can handle it. Yeah. Dane with a power bomb senton on Cole and Ricochet through the ladders. Lars sends EC3 off the apron through Velveteen and a ladder with the freak accident. Cole dumps Ricochet over the top and wins it. And that, I thought, set up a beautiful story for the rest of the night, because we go into this and a lot of people wondered, will Cole even make it to the ladder match? Will he be replaced? How will he factor into the tag match? And then later on, it's, will Pete Dunne be the first double champion in NXT on the male side? You could say Paige was. She held the women's title and the Divas title for a brief period. But now you've got Adam Cole maybe being the first double champion. This was a perfect ladder match in my estimation. It gave me a lot of stuff I haven't seen before. Everybody got some shine. Everybody looked good in this match.
Yeah, this was one of those things where you didn't even have those terrible spots where somebody forgets how to climb a ladder because they need to like stall for time. You even got rid of those things. Like everybody who was climbing a ladder was climbing a ladder.
Well, that's one of the things you're afforded in these 6-person ladder matches, but still in WWE, they happen a lot.
Money in the Bank matches, you absolutely have Dolph Ziggler struggling to get past the third rung because he's waiting for somebody to wake up on the outside.
Then 10 minutes later, he speeds up the ladder.
Yeah.
And starts headbutting Daniel Bryan out of the WWE for 3 years.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. This match was so great, and it perfectly sets up all these different things. You still have Killian Dane and Lars who hate each other. Give me some more of those big Hoss matches. Last week on NXT, that was a really cool prelude to whatever they're going to do there. Velvet Chain Dream still looks like a star. And Cole is super charismatic and now the leader of basically his own NWO. And so then you also have Ricochet and EC3 who were introduced to the WWE basically crowd. I had somebody tweet me that they had heard of Ricochet, but had never seen him before and was like, gosh, this guy's amazing. Give him all the titles.
We underestimate how many people are like that, too.
There are so many people who only watch WWE. They just don't. They won't watch other stuff. So they have heard of guys, maybe seen a GIF or two. But when you see Ricochet in action, like, here's the thing. Not only is he spectacular on offense, he is the best seller in the world. The way he bumps, the way he sells, like he makes anybody look so great. I was also watching him up against Lars and Killian Dane, and you forget like the biggest dude in Lucha Underground is like 6'1" and 260. You know what I mean? So like he's up against the big boys now, and now I really need to see him up against like the big boys.
Yeah.
Once, just let me see Ricochet against Braun Strowman. Just once. I want to see it. I think it'd be great.
Oh, I think that Ricochet, when he goes up to the main roster, should not be in 205 Live. No, and normally I would say, oh, yeah, he should. I think when a Leo Rush moves up to 205 Live, he'll be able to do what a Ricochet does. Meanwhile, I think Ricochet has all the components to be this generation's Rey Mysterio. I really do. And work with the big guys. I think that he can really do that well. I'm going to try to find out who produced this match. I don't have, I'm not given the script for NXT or anything like that, but I'm going to try to find out who helped produce this because this was a work of art and everything looked good. And I hope that all the guys in it are physically okay because this looked like just bulging discs, just pass them out.
It was brutal, and it was not the most brutal match of the night.
Get on your inversion tables, boys. To follow this up wasn't easy, and I thought that Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon did it. This was a completely different match. Shayna Baszler defeated Ember Moon to win the NXT Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey and Jessamine Duke at ringside. That was very, very cool to see. From the get-go, Shayna sidesteps a drop kick and just cracked Ember with this beautiful punch. And I love that. Like a punch from a UFC fighter should do that.
Yeah.
She just stepped to the side, threw her shoulders into it. Big punch. Ember gets caught with a huge knee right after that. This is a slower-paced, methodical match with Baszler really playing to perfection by stalking Ember, countering like everything Ember threw her way. Baszler then tries to break Ember's arm with the stomp that she did to Dakota Kai, who I thought sold that as well as anybody I've ever seen. But then Ember turns the tables, does it to Shayna, who then later, like visually, pops it back in. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's an old school move. That's from Lethal Weapon 2.
Oh, yeah.
1989 with Mel Gibson as Martin Riggs, who has a shoulder thing where he pops it back into place when, like he does it a whole bunch of times. At one point, he does it to get out of handcuffs while he's underwater because, he's a Superman. But Homegirl straight up Martin Riggsed herself in the middle of this match, and I was like, I'm in for Shayna Baszler. I love her persona in ring. Like her whole, this ain't nothing. I love that about her, and I love that it's all a facade. Like there are certain moments in the match where you can tell she's scared she's going to lose, but she covers it right back up. She's really good at those performance beats in a match, and I'm into her, man. I like her a lot.
So there is an eclipse to the outside of the ring. Both make it back by the 10 count. Baszler applies a rear naked choke. I love this. Ember Moon peels the arm. You're supposed to peel the arm. When you have a rear naked choke like this on and you want to get out of it, You grab basically the hand here, the wrist, you peel it down, and you alleviate this. But what Ember did, instead of doing that, she cranked that elbow downward because she had already hurt that on Shayna with that kick. That was beautiful. Whoever came up with that, A+, great stuff. Baszler then transitions into the triangle, but it's countered into a sit-down powerbomb for 2. Just a wonderful, wonderful series. And then it happened, Alex. Exactly what I've been begging for on our preview shows on the Fightful Weekender on FightfulSelect.com. Subscribe now. I wanted this to be the finish. Ember jumps off the top rope, goes for an eclipse, but then Baszler just catches her. Rear naked choke. Shayna Baszler wins NXT Women's Championship. I would imagine she's probably the oldest NXT Women's Championship they've had, or Women's Champion they've had, too, because I think she's 37, 38.
I think she's older than Asuka, I think.
She is.
Yeah. So,
37.
What I loved about it is that Ember tries to pull the arm down again. So and Shayna won't give it to her. But in order to keep the hold on, she grabs her own hair so that she can't pull out of it. And then Ember just falls asleep in it. Like Bayley, when Bayley went to main roster, when she lost to Asuka the second time. This, to me, smacks of Asuka wins tomorrow night. Charlotte has the rematch on Tuesday. Right after Asuka, when Asuka's celebrating, Ember Moon shows up. Because Ember Moon is the one girl in NXT that absolutely pushed Asuka all the way to her limit. And Asuka almost lost twice. She had to resort to cheating both times. Like, this is a cool feud. You could really do something like this on the main roster. You could use Ember Moon on the main roster.
So my previous qualms with Ember Moon were her promo skills, and my God, those have improved.
Sure.
She's gotten a lot better. They put her in that sit-down environment. As I've said before, for better or for worse, NXT and WWE are trying their best to do different things. They have like the media junkets. They had the Q&A with Rousey. They do the selfie promos, the gorilla position promos. They're trying different things besides that super awkward thing where they send out a baby face into the middle of the ring with a mic by themselves to be like, hey guys, I know you're here to watch wrestling, but let me bitch about this. Because it's hard to get behind somebody that does that. So I like that they're doing that and making a difference. I'm looking at recent WWE Women's Champions and Divas Champions. I don't see one in recent history that was as old as Shayna Baszler, so that's quite an accomplishment. Looking back, I don't see a WWE Divas Champion that was ever 38 when they held it.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? SmackDown. They were all fired by the time they were 29 for being.
Well, a lot of them left of their own volition.
Oh yeah, but
a ton of them did.
If they weren't fired, they weren't there because it was well thought that, like, oh well, are you approaching 30? Well, no one wants to look at you anymore. Goodbye.
Did you see the stat that I posted about Beth Phoenix?
Yeah.
11 people on the main WrestleMania card are older than her.
Yeah.
That's insane. She's already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And she gets the call to match tomorrow. Wish she'd be in it, but you know.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, if it was a Royal Rumble style, I wouldn't put it past them to, like, all right, I'm number 27. Pull out the thing, go in. But everyone starts in the ring, so that's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm peeping it out here. Yeah, I think Ivory, she is the oldest women's champion or in WWE. That is impressive. And
I love the pre-match video package with her whole philosophy. Like, so I didn't play by the rules. Only stupid people play by the rules.
Yeah.
So you wasted your whole life in the indies working your way up here. I showed up and I'm in the main.
That should be Baron Corbin. That should be Baron Corbin's top thing. And that's also a funny thing about MMA. You'll hear that in the MMA versus street fight conversation. Yeah. People will be like, MMA fighters play by the rules. If it's a street fight, they can't beat anybody up. I'm like, guys, in my gym personally, I used to find holes in the drywall and rub it in my partner's eyes. Like, they're prepared. We're skeevy. Come on now.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good match. This tag team championship match, I didn't think it was particularly great. It was okay, but it was the story that came out of this match that I thought was special. Authors of Pain immediately take Adam Cole out of the match with a double powerbomb through the announce table. The teams are Undisputed Era, Roderick Strong, and Pete Dunne, Authors of Pain, with Adam Cole serving as one of the team members of Undisputed Era because Bobby Fish tore his knee up. O'Reilly had Strong in a triangle and Akam in an ankle lock, but Dunne gets powerbombed on top of him by Razor. Really neat spot. O'Reilly hilariously tried to no-sell a German suplex from one of the Authors of Pain and then just fell out of the ring. He fired up. Like, he went full Matt Riddle on him and then just fell outside the ring. Kyle O'Reilly, one of the best workers in the world, in my opinion.
Great. He did one where he did a release German suplex to Pete Dunne, who backflipped out of it and landed on his feet. And then Kyle O'Reilly is sitting there like, ha ha, I got him. Gets kicked in the back of the head. Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly's great. Like, he's the guy on Undisputed Era that I feel like has been utilized the least as far as in promo stuff. I don't know if he's any good at that. But in the ring, he's a lot of fun to watch. I like that guy a lot.
So Dunne and Strong have some nice tag team offense, but can't get it done after their finish, and a pin is broken up. One of the AOP members is sent into the stairs. And then as Dunne hits bitter end on O'Reilly, Roderick Strong turns on Dunne, hits End of Heartache, which I think is just one of the most badass finishers.
It's great.
Ooh, boy. And Undisputed Era wins. Afterwards, Cole and O'Reilly look just confused. Strong puts on the Undisputed Era armband. A huge ovation for this. They are joined by Bobby Fish on the ramp, where they have the NXT North American Championship, 2 tag team titles, and the Dusty Rhodes Tag Classic Trophy. I got one for all of them.
Roderick Strong is the third man.
But whose side is he on?
Whose side is he on? He's on. Oh, God. This was great because, gosh, like, Cole offered it to him to be part of the Undisputed Era when the Undisputed Era first showed up, like back in the fall. And Strong was like, no, I don't think so. I think I'm going to go my own way. But I want at the first big promo for him to be like, I've been playing everybody since the beginning.
My God, I was at tapings in September and they were working that angle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In the fall. And I love this. I think it's fantastic because of all of the possibilities out of this. Pete Dunne, the bruiserweight, is going to be so pissed.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get, because I honestly feel like he's one of the best guys in all of WWE, maybe all of the world, just as a whole. I love this guy. And you're going to get matches between him and Kyle O'Reilly, between him and Adam Cole, between him and Roderick Strong. You're going to get 6-man tags where he recruits Tyler Bate and Trent Seven to come in, and they reform British Strong Style to go up against that triumvirate. Then over in the North American Championship thing, you've got a ready-made feud between Adam Cole and Ricochet. Holy crap. Then you could say, okay, well, Pete Dunne and Ricochet are going to team together in this tag team match versus Cole and Strong. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. Like, NXT in 2018 is going to be off the charts good. Like,
oh, yeah.
It already is, but can you imagine where we're going to be by Royal Rumble next year? Like, there's
I was saying last summer, I think that this is the best roster for NXT ever. And I think that stays even if they lose several key components.
Oh, absolutely. They could wipe out a whole bunch of people. You could see a lot of people show up on Monday and Tuesday, and still they've got all these people to plug in and continue just chugging along.
The Largo shows are going to be good. For the love of God. Fun shows coming to NXT Largo. NXT Championship. Aleister Black is your new NXT champion as he defeated Andrade Cien Almas to become champion. I've said this before on the Fightful Weekender at FightfulSelect.com. Subscribe now. I thought the buildup has been trash, but I knew the match was going to be good. Black early on almost ate it, flipping back into the ring, but then hit a moonsault anyway. And then we got a Zelina Kanrana. She channeled Lita and sent Aleister Black into the stairs. This was a recurring theme of this match. Just Zelina getting involved until she went to the well one too many times. Almas keeps going back to the hanging triangle, but has to give it up. They strike it out for several minutes until Almas scores a big corkscrew planche, a beautiful move. Zelina gets involved again, and she and Almas use the championship to distract the ref. Another spiked Zelina Kanrana that I thought that Black sold beautifully. Aleister Black lands Black Mass, but then Zelina gets involved again, puts Almas' foot on the ropes. She goes for number 4 and distracts Black again. Now, I think there's a real, like, if this were to happen in a main roster title match, I don't know that it would be received so positively as this. That being said, that usually happens when there's a baby face that just has never, ever, ever gotten over the hump in WWE. And they don't want him to get over the hump necessarily.
Right.
And that's their way of being like, see, we built him as strong, but we still don't want him to be the person that we put stock into. In NXT, I think maybe it's almost the New Japan thing. Like New Japan gets a little more lenient because they have earned that goodwill based on their storylines and booking. And I think NXT has too. So when Zelina keeps screwing a guy out of his opportunity, it's like, okay, well, we've seen NXT enough, especially in recent years, to know that there is a comeuppance eventually.
Yeah. This was really great because it's the same thing. Like Zelina got involved in the Drew McIntyre feud where McIntyre lost and almost became champ. She got involved all through the Johnny Gargano matches. Gargano even brought in his wife Candice to be his second, so to counter her. And in this match, she got involved several times. I didn't like it until I loved it. It was one of those things I was like, come on. You presented Aleister Black as basically this master of the occult who can see through time. Like he's really smart. He wouldn't be falling for this crap until like he didn't. He ducked it. She landed the crossbody, and almost walked right into the Black Mass for the finish. That was great. Up until that point, I was like, "Come on, I don't want to see this anymore." But I think that the finish the end justified the means. One thing that you skipped in the description of this match that I love.
Oh, we're hardly done.
Good. Okay, but
yes.
the one thing the spot that I loved the most was him going for the Black Mass. And halfway through the spin, getting drop kicked in the back of the head.
Oh yeah,
like that was so perfectly timed.
Yeah, that came right after the double knees in the corner that Black kicked out of, and after that there was a double knees into the post. Almas isn't able to capitalize, and Black scores a tope con hilo. Almas reacts quickly and gets a hammerlock DDT, but can't win. Then Zelina does it. She goes to the well one too many times, and Almas has to catch her. Black Mass and Aleister Black wins. He is your champion.
Yeah, this is interesting, mainly because I feel like there's a lot of moving parts here. If Almas is called up on Monday or Tuesday, then they move on. If not, this is a ready-made thing that can continue. I think that you could easily find among all of the super talented women that they have in NXT, you could find somebody like a Candice, but somebody who could be Aleister's to counteract Zelina. There's a lot of different things you could do there. But if Almas goes up, you could easily plug in anybody you want to be the new person to feud with Aleister Black. And I think Aleister Black is great. I think he's been main roster ready since he showed up at the Performance Center. So who knows how long this title reign is going to be. I wouldn't be surprised to see him lose it in, I guess it's Money in the Bank one in June, and then get moved up.
It's going to be the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is going to be, that's an interesting 8 days in pro wrestling because you have CM Punk fighting on a UFC show. By the way, he was in New Orleans doing signings. Did you see the video with him and Dave Bautista?
No, I did not.
That was very funny. Dave Bautista is like massaging his shoulders while Punk complains about something in his salad, and Dave's like, "It's okay, Mr. Punk. I'll go fix that for you." Good stuff, man. We'll talk more about the Dave Bautista situation with WWE on tomorrow's post-WrestleMania podcast. Yep. That'll be a supersized edition, my friends. This one a little shorter. That one a little longer.
Well, I mean, I think there's 13 hours of stuff we're gonna
run as long as that friggin' Janela show last night.
Or the Hall of Fame celebration.
Oh man, I will. If I could never watch another Hall of Fame show again, it wouldn't be soon enough. Ring of Honor, I hope they run Friday next year. I know there was some confusion about what night they would run versus NXT this year. Next year, I think it's been announced, Hall of Fame's on Friday. Run Friday night. Friday night.
Here's the thing, what they're going to do. As soon as Ring of Honor announces that they're going to run on Friday, they'll switch it.
Well, I think it was a venue issue because WWE has that opportunity because they have the same venue back-to-back nights. Right. And apparently when Impact books Friday, their main eventer doesn't show up and gets fired from the company the next day.
Interesting.
A shocker. Maybe don't hedge your bets on that guy.
Maybe don't ever, count on that guy ever again.
So who do you see next for Aleister Black?
Honestly, you could run back that Velveteen Dream.
Exactly.
Because I feel like you could do that. I feel like EC3 would be a really cool counterpart to Aleister Black. He's the opposite of Aleister Black.
Yeah.
Like he can't keep his mouth shut, whereas Aleister Black is great when he's silent. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. Really.
Yeah. Whatever happens, I don't want Lars Sullivan versus Killian Dane to end up being the thing because that match last Thursday I thought sucked.
Oh, okay.
Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. I just don't want those two paired off against one another.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Sirloin beef sons of bitches.
I do. But also, I did think that the I don't know what you thought of it, but the Killian Dane versus Aleister Black thing looked cool. I think Killian Dane is really, really versatile in the ring. And I think that thing is, I don't know what they're going to do with Sanity at this point, because Sanity not being on this card, not getting very far in the Dynasty Classic, kind of was interesting to me. That they're, I don't know what they're doing with that, and I don't know if Killian Dane needs to be tethered to that group anymore because he's been doing a lot more singles work. So I'm not sure. This is the thing about NXT that I love. When they have their next set of tapings, we'll know what the direction is, but try predicting it before then, because you're probably going to be wrong.
Yeah, my God, man. The Access shows were loaded.
Yeah, the Access shows were. This is the thing: is like, are they going to show those matches to us? Because they do. Because here's the thing: like, I was looking at. I tweeted about this. The friggin' brackets on these little tournaments were stacked, and I was saying,
Fightful's Jason Kincaid.
Yeah, like there's all kinds of stuff on it. But I was like, oh my gosh, you got Pete Dunne, who's going to defend his championship, as the UK championship, against what I thought was certainly going to be Buddy Murphy. But Buddy Murphy goes out in the first round to Leo Rush. I'm like, well, I want to see that match. How did Leo Rush beat him? Because Buddy Murphy's looked unbeatable in the past few weeks of 205 Live.
They could not film content for NXT for 3 months and have enough based on what was there. Speaking of Fightful, big weekend for Fightful alumni. Shane Helms was on the Wildcat Sports Show. How about this one? Former Fightful Pro Series writer Deonna Purrazzo against Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
That was cool. Matt Riddle worked 7 matches over 36 hours, including one against the big hog, James Ellsworth, and Fightful's Jason Kincaid wrestling at Access. Couldn't tell you how happy I am about that. If you all have not checked out Jason Kincaid's writing on Fightful.com, please just go to Fightful.com, type in Jason Kincaid, and you will fall down a rabbit hole of the stuff that he has written, and it is impressive. He is one of the most gifted writers I've ever had the pleasure of working with and editing. Let's talk about the main event. Unsanctioned match, Johnny Gargano against Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa comes out to no music but a giant heel reaction, and he had a villainous gear.
Yeah.
Like 80s. Looked like he popped right out of an 80s movie.
Yeah. No, he looked like a space pirate. I loved it. I mean,
it was cool.
He's great. And this is that much I'm like, see, Dolph Ziggler, this is how you enter to no music.
Maybe don't have a record scratch. Or are WWE themes on vinyl? I know they're selling those at Walmart now. But is that the thing?
It's just the worst. No one's
Is DJ Lethal queuing up the themes for WWE main roster people? DJ Lethal, bring it on.
No, this was great. Him walking down slow, soaking it up. Like he's the most hated heel on the entire roster. Like even the Miz gets babyface reactions sometimes. Like everyone hates Ciampa. He's getting "F you Ciampa" chants throughout the match, not just the entrance. Like, he's great. He's great.
This is a match that everybody in that building knew was a storyline, but they didn't care that it was a storyline. Yeah. They cared about these two guys. Yeah. There's a lot of brawling in the opening minutes until Gargano sends Ciampa flying over the table into the announcers, which garners a "Mamma Mia" chant. Yeah. I thought that was great. Ciampa suplexes Gargano off the announce table into the floor, then belly-to-back suplexes him through the covering of the announce table, which did not break. That was a cool spot. And I wondered, was that the first time? And some people pointed out a couple of other times that it happened. But the fact that it doesn't happen a lot, I like. And this is one of those things WWE should explain. Why do they take that off? Well, say it's a fine if they don't. Say it's an absurd fine, like so high that they always do it.
Yeah. It's weird. Like it protects the monitors, which they also remove. Like if we're like, oh, just leave if the monitors get damaged, you get a huge fine. Also, if the thing that protects the monitors gets damaged, there's an even bigger fine. So make sure you pull that off and throw it across the ringside area.
So Ciampa applies a submission, but Gargano drags himself out of the ring. I know there are going to be a lot of people questioning the rope break thing in this match, and the ref even said there's no rope breaks, and there aren't. So Ciampa doesn't have to let go of the submission, but the thing is he can't get a submission win there because that's out of the field of play. That would be like trying to shoot a three-pointer with your foot out of bounds. I mean, you can take the shot all you want, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to count. Like so the other team gets the ball, no big deal. So that's to clear that up. Ciampa goes after Gargano with a crutch, but Gargano avoids it. Then he power bombs Ciampa onto exposed concrete, and the slap of that was gross. It sounded like, as New Jack said, you get a piece of raw chicken and you just slam it onto the floor.
Yeah.
Whop.
But what was teased before that was the air raid crash onto the concrete.
Yes.
And I honestly thought they were going to do that spot. And I had my hands over my mouth and I was like, oh, no. Don't, because listen, I spent all day today re-watching the history of DIY, their singles match, the TWC, all their tag matches, because I wanted to know, because I knew these guys would do it. What are they going to do callbacks from? And they did stuff from all of those matches.
Isn't that cool?
Like these guys are wizards. Like there was a thing, like I wrote about it at the time, where Johnny Gargano was selling leg damage in the CWC from a match that he would have against the Revival, that the match that he has then, because the TW is taped so far in advance, he hasn't had that match yet, but he's selling the leg damage when the match starts. Like he was a time traveler or something. These guys are so great. And they did. Like, I highly recommend, if you loved this and you haven't seen that stuff, or if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it, because these guys brought in all that stuff.
Back in the ring, they both go for the crutch, but Gargano gets it and busts Ciampa. Follows up with a slingshot DDT for 2. Gargano goes back to the slingshot, but flies right into a knee. Ciampa follows up with a beautiful spinning rack powerbomb that gets 2. Then another big knee to the head that gets a 2 count. They messed up a spiked Rana, but, I mean, ultimately the situation was that Ciampa got spiked, and he did. Then they go into the Gargano escape. After a solid minute, Ciampa's like, wait a second, there are no rules here. I'm going to gouge your eyes out. And he does. And Morrow called him a sick son of a bitch or something. He added so much with that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah,
I reviewed that WWF Backlash show for FightfulSelect.com. Subscribe now. And JR being so angry, so pissed off.
Yeah.
It helped. And Morrow being pissed off helped too.
He's got a family, damn it. No, all that stuff when Jim Ross was incredulous at things that the heels would do, it certainly added to it. And I actually like this number. Like, we're supposed to be impartial, says Mauro Ranallo, but you got to kind of root for Johnny Gargano here. And Percy Watton's like, well, speak for yourself. I don't know if he should be doing this. Like, no, honestly. And then like Mauro backed it up. Like he's using the crutch that Ciampa used on him. Like to have basically have been stabbed in the back by your best friend and later get a hold of that same knife and go to town on your friend with that knife. It's kind of poetic, you know?
Ciampa grabs his own wrist tape and they end up tethering one another to it, which leads me to think strap match. Do a goddamn strap match next.
Do it.
I want to see what you can cook up.
Yeah.
And very rarely in my life have I ever said, yeah, let's do a strap match. That's not something that I often want.
No.
Crutch shots and a Project Ciampa get 2 for Ciampa. And the crowd was sold. Crowd was sold for the second time there.
Yeah.
Then a lawn dart and super kicks sold the crowd, but it doesn't get the finish. Then they're up on the top rope and a super Project Ciampa hits. And I thought that was it.
Oh, yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. No, I this is the thing is that I thought that after Black won, oh my God, Gargano's going to lose. Because then I felt like there wasn't a lot you could do with Gargano as being like the super babyface with a babyface also loved champ. There wasn't a lot you could go with. So I was thinking that was going to lose. So but the Project Ciampa, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's the power bomb lung blower thing that he does. If you don't know the name of it, it looks like it murders people, especially Johnny Wrestling because the way he sells it. I thought that off the top rope was just
at this point, if Carlito ever comes back, he's got to get a new finish because people are heaving one another up in the air in different ways into that backstabber now.
Yeah, the backstabber by itself was kind of like, okay, and what else?
And then it was so cool. It was different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but now, no.
Because in the 90s, nobody wanted to take that, so the move didn't really exist in WWE. Ciampa takes off his knee brace, but Gargano hits him with it. Gargano breaks off the crutch, but he hesitates. And this shot, WWE production was just great because Ciampa's looking up. He's got that gray beard, and his eye is swollen.
Yep.
And he looks pathetic. He looks like a dog that just got kicked around. And Gargano looks like he's having mercy on him. And like, to me, I think maybe he was giving Ciampa a chance. Like, here's your chance. Let's just hug it out. But he was ready for what was going to happen next, and that was Ciampa swinging the brace around. But Gargano caught him in Gargano escaped, then turned it around into an STF, pulled the brace across Ciampa's face, got the submission, joined by Candice, his wife, Candice LeRae. Spoiler alert on my match ratings. I think about 60 to 70% into this match, I thought I was going to give it about an 8.75 or whatever, 8 3/4. It ended up getting a 10 out of 10. The storytelling in the last 10 minutes of this just boom. God, what can I say?
There was a moment.
I know what I can say. Good shit, pal, is what I can say.
Good shit, pal. There was a moment, I forget after what ridiculous near fall it was, that Ciampa just sat there and said, am I going to have to kill you? Like, and Gargano crawled over to him the way he did at TakeOver Chicago after Ciampa turned on him, crawled over to him, and it was just like this same, that was that callback. Later, when he takes off the brace and then he takes down the knee pad, that was the same thing that happened in their CWC singles match, where Ciampa takes down the knee pad because he doesn't know how he's going to finish the guy otherwise. But as he's about to hit him with the exposed knee, he thinks better of it because he doesn't want to kill his best friend. So he pulls up the knee pad, and that bit of hesitation cost him that match. So he doesn't hesitate this time, but Gargano is ready for it and hits him in that exposed knee with the brace. Like that, and then the moment where he's like, where Gargano's going to stab him in the face with a broken crutch.
That's what I thought.
That's what he was going for. And he stops because he still loves his brother. And I swear to you, Sean Ross Sapp and all those listening, I cried. There was a moment where I shed it, like, because you know what it was? Because I watched the whole damn thing today.
Yeah.
So I knew their whole history going into it. And that moment where Ciampa looks up at him, broken, with that puffy, like, I felt like Johnny could see there's still some good in you, like Luke and Vader at the end of Jedi. Like, that's what it was, until, of course, nah, there's not. And Ciampa takes a swing at him. It's perfect. It was a perfect ending to this match, as well as using the brace to finish off the submission. Like, it was perfect. The story from beginning to end with these guys has been perfect. And you could tell me this isn't the end. They're going to keep fighting all the way through Brooklyn, and I'd say, great.
Was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you what you think, because they're not on TV every week. It's every 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a couple times a month. Also, the funny thing is there's going to be a NXT Takeover Brooklyn in August and then another one in March. And Triple H has always said that's really their WrestleMania for NXT is Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But man, this was a special show, man. This was a special show, and that was a special story that finally got told. I'll never forget being in the crowd at Highland Heights in Kentucky, I think 2 days before NXT TakeOver, and they had touted this big Ohio River celebration, whatever, because Johnny Gargano was an Ohio guy and big in the area. And this match gets ended in like 5 minutes, and everybody's like, what's going on? And Ciampa had torn up his leg and competed a couple nights later. And I don't think he ever revealed if it was actually that injury, because within hours, people were fantasy booking who would replace him. And that became the catalyst for his heel turn in character. Just a beautifully crafted story. We had Gargano winning. We had Aleister Black winning, Undisputed Era winning, Shayna Baszler winning, and Adam Cole winning. The heels won 3 out of 5, but it felt like the right person won from a story perspective every single time, because it opened up a lot of different things.
So
the NXT show did very well.
Like here's the thing: if Ember Moon moves on, they've got no shortage of women that can still be there challenging Shayna Baszler. Especially, they seem to be really high on Dakota Kai, because she moved through this WrestleMania Access tournament. She beat Nikki Cross in the second round, where they've been high on forever. And Dakota Kai has that really great history with Baszler, when Baszler, in that match, quote unquote, broke her arm. Yeah. There's a really cool thing they can do that with her. I think she's great.
Pulled one over on Baszler recently too.
Yep.
On NXT TV, so they can go back to that.
They can go that well. It'd be great.
So that was NXT TakeOver. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for joining me. As I've mentioned a few times on this podcast, if you want to get weekly NXT TV reviews, I do the Fightful Weekender on FightfulSelect.com. It is a cool way to support Fightful.com financially. We're running MMA, pro wrestling, and boxing, so costs are high, my friends. Also, we have about 1 million exclusives on Fightful.com this week. While a lot of other sites are getting aggregated content from Radio Row, we're doing that, but we've got a ton of exclusives. I'm talking like 2 or 3 dozen out of interviews we've did with Bruce Pritchard, who just had a new podcast announced for the WWE Network, to Stevie Ray, Ivelisse, Gangrel, names like that maybe you don't hear from all the time. Ivelisse told me how pissed she was to not be booked this weekend, and rightfully so, might I add. Just a lot of great stuff over at Fightful.com. You can go to FightfulWrestling.com, click that exclusives tab, and you will be able to see all of it, including Alex's. How many words did you do on Jeff Jarrett's song?
It was like 2,370 something. Too long, but I still think entertaining all the way through. Little deep dive into With My Baby Tonight and the lyrics and the story behind it. There's a lot of contradictions, but if you think about it, there's a lot of ways you can figure out what's going on. It might, and I stress might, take place during a zombie apocalypse. And to find out why that's a possibility, you got to read the article.
Exactly. Me and Alex will be back tomorrow night right after WrestleMania, and I mean minutes after WrestleMania. But tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to review Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor, and talk about some of the other things. Thinking John Morehouse may join me on that show. He's covering Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor tonight. Also, Monday night, Raw After Mania. Me and Alex are right back here. I'm back here SmackDown after Mania. Jeff won't be, but I'm working on somebody else. Hopefully we can make that happen. Lots of cool stuff going on, guys. I'm back here in maybe an hour or so covering UFC 223 as I speak. Rose Namajunas, Joanna Jędrzejczyk up on the screen. Follow Alex at Pawlowski the4. Follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. We expected this podcast to be a little abbreviated, but 5 matches gave us a lot of story and a lot of substance to talk about. So you get a full edition tonight. You get a full edition tonight. Guys, thank you all so much. Like, subscribe, visit Fightful.com, FightfulSelect.com. We're out.